Digital marketing and AI have often been labeled as the gold rush of the 21st century. Individuals and businesses are jumping on the bandwagon because it is a great money-making opportunity, or at least that's what most people think. It was just like the gold rush of the 1800s. Many people heard that there was gold hidden underneath the ground in the California area. Therefore, people from various places traveled all the way to California physically to dig the gold. Well, not all people managed to find gold, only a small portion of people did. And that's because they know where to go to find the goal. And of course, they put in the hard work and then they found success. Likewise, in digital marketing today, even though there's a lot of competition, I'll still share with you where you can go to find goal and find success in digital marketing. Okay, of course, if it was so easy, everyone would have done it already. All of us have heard of this saying, and that there's no free lunch in the world. In fact, you might have heard that lots of people that made money during that period were also the vendors and seller during the gold rush. They sell things like spade and the gold mining tools to the miners, and that's how they make money. They even sell clothes like jeans, and that was how Levi's got started, and they make it big from there. So the question is there still gold to be found in digital marketing? You've probably seen a lot of case studies, success stories floating around the internet, like people breaking sales record, revenue increasing by 50%, and 3x ROI, 600 leads, $89,000 in revenue generated. It makes you wonder, are those real or not? It seems like everyone is achieving success with digital marketing except for us. Well, here's what you need to know. If there are two businesses selling the same thing, they go to the same agency, they might be achieving drastically different results. One business might be getting very good ROI, even doubling their revenue, but the other business might be losing money on their digital marketing campaign. And this is even if they are selling the same product, located in the same area, engage the same agency, but they will get drastically different results. And why is that the case? Which brings me to the crux of today's discussion, that the real opportunity lies underneath your business. And the opportunity is not like what most people say in digital marketing or in Facebook, in Google, in TikTok. The real opportunity actually lies in your business. You probably heard of people who go from places to places, hopping around, trying to find gold. And then they realize that the gold is hidden underneath their backyard all along. They just didn't dig deep enough. And it's only after going from place to place that they realize the gold is hidden in their backyard. And this is what I'm going to share with you today, that the opportunity lies in your business, that you just need to dig and find the X factor of your business. Most people think that they need a USP in order to stand out among the competition and to find success, but there's only one piece of the puzzle. You have to find something that's at the cross section between what is unique, the unique selling point of business, and the needs of your target audience. Then you have a real X factor. Let me share with you a more concrete example so that you can see the big picture. I'd like to share a story of how tissue got started and how this product was created. Because back in those days, before World War I, there was actually no tissue. People used handkerchief only. It was after World War I, this company, Kimberly-Clark, that manufactures gas masks for the World War, no longer need to manufacture gas masks because there was no need for gas masks after the World War. So they were left with a lot of this raw material called cellulocotton. And from this raw material, they created a new product, tissue, that we know of today. But back then, there was no demand for tissue. Nobody know what is tissue, let alone have any use for tissue. So they brainstormed a lot of different ways to market tissue, and across the years, they launched various campaigns. Tissue was being sold as a coffee filter, a disposable towel, a way to remove cold cream, a beauty product, so on and so forth. But throughout the years, they couldn't find any success with selling tissue. None of the benefits that I mentioned actually worked. And they were at the point of wanting to scrap the product altogether already, until one day, the head of the research team at Kimberly-Clark was down with a flu. He was sneezing and having running nose and stuff like that. Then suddenly he had a light bulb moment and he thought, why don't we use or market tissue as a way to remove mucus, to wipe off the mucus? As simple as that, because at that time people use handkerchief and it's not very hygienic because the bacteria is put back into your pocket. So he thought of this idea to use tissue as a way to wipe off mucus and to market it as such. And guess what happened next? This was the exact ad that they published. And this is the headline. Don't put a coal in your pocket. It's very self-explanatory. The explanation and the messaging is very clear. Instead of using your handkerchief and wiping your mucus and putting bacteria back in your pocket, you use a tissue that you can just use one time and then throw away. This is disposable. So this messaging saved it all. And guess what happened? This is what we call a billion-dollar tissue ad today because it literally propelled tissue from being a product that nobody used to being a billion-dollar product line for Kimberly-Clark. And then, as we say, the rest is history. Tissue became a household product. Now you see tissue boxes in your office, in homes, in pretty much everywhere. And other companies started to manufacture tissue as well. And all that wouldn't have happened if Kimberly-Clark didn't knew their X factor. Once they knew their X factor, which was using tissue to wipe off mucus, they use it in their campaign and it skyrocketed the product. It all started when they found their X factor. And this is what I'm referring to in this Venn diagram that I just showed you. X factor is like the cross-section of the business USP and the needs of the target audience. And that was what Kimberly-Clark managed to land on when they failed, after they failed so many times. So in the example of the tissue, the needs of the target audience were that they needed a more hygienic way to clean off their mucus instead of using the handkerchief because the flu can be contagious, it can be deadly. So there was a real need for tissue. And the USP of tissue is that it's disposable and convenient, different from any of the products available at that time. So that was something that was really unique. And combined together, it forms the X factor of tissue. And it's as simple as using tissue to wipe off mucus. That was the X factor. And most people thought that X factor needs to be something revolutionary or technology driven, like creating the next driverless car. But that's not true. The simpler your X factor, the better it is because it allows the target audience to understand it more easily rather than having something so complicated. So X factor is simply something that combines needs of your audience with USP of the business. And there you have it. Let me show you or run through with you a couple more X factor examples that I'm sure you have heard of. Zoom. How did Zoom become the default way to conduct online meetings when there were so many other options before Zoom? There was Skype, there is still Skype, and there is still Google Meet and so on and so forth. A lot of online meeting tools that you can use, but we still choose Zoom as the default. And Zoom managed to dominate the market now. It all boils down to their X factor, which is the convenience that Zoom offers as compared to the other options. Think about it, you need to log in, you need to create an account in order to start using Skype. Whereas for Zoom, someone can just send you the link, you click on the link, and voila, you're in the meeting and start talking. It's fast, it's instantaneous, it's easy. And that's what Zoom offer as their X factor. Same with Stripe. Stripe was competing with PayPal, and PayPal also requires you to create an account, log into an account in order to make payment, whereas Stripe is the epitome of convenience, much like Zoom is. They allow you to just enter credit card information and you can make payment right away. And that's how Zoom and Stripe grew so fast. So that was the X factor. Another example is Decathlon. They have this microfiber towel that they sell for $10, whereby you can get a towel out there for as low as $2, $3. But this microfiber towel and it's still the best-selling product, one of the best-selling product of Decathlon. This is because they understand the customer needs. They understood that their target audience are the athletes and the travelers. For example, the backpackers, they need to travel from one hostel to another hostel, and they need to pack and go within one day. So their towels have to dry up very fast. And they managed to meet the need of the target audience with the microfiber towel. And that was unique to Decathlon because they developed it through their own research team to have this towel that can dry very fast. And combined, it forms the X factor of Decathlon. Likewise for Zoom and for Stripe. It meets the needs of the target audience for instant gratification. At the same time, it's also unique to their business. But There are a lot of examples whereby the business didn't manage to create a product or didn't manage to find the X factor of the product and it flopped. Amazon Fire Phone is a classic example. Some of us heard of it, but most didn't because the phone did not take off and it scraped the product line. So Amazon Fire Phone was out there to compete with like iPhone and Samsung phone with this unique technology, what they call the 3D scanning technology. Basically, you take a picture and then it creates a 3D image from there. There's something unique that Amazon has created. The problem is that it didn't meet the needs of target audience. There was no real need for that function. So even though it was unique, it wasn't the X factor. So you can see that they fall on the right side of the Venn diagram. It doesn't work because it's unique but doesn't meet the needs of target audience, unfortunately. But there are a lot of cases whereby we fall on the left-hand side, actually quite common. For example, businesses tend to market results in their ad campaign. If you're a tuition center, you probably talk about how many students you have helped to increase grades by 10 points, 20 points from a grade C to a grade B to a grade A, that sort of thing. But a lot of competitors say the same thing. Likewise, if you're a beauty salon, you talk about results, helping clients to slim down by 20 kg in 3 months and whatnot. So results is a common way to market a tuition center or beauty salon, but it's quite short term because nowadays lots of other competitors are using the same way to market as well. It's not unique, therefore it will not be a sustainable way to market unless you have a certain methodology that's unique to your business or a certain formula, then you will have your X factor. So it's very important to be at the middle of these two circles, and that is the real X factor. It's something should be simple and straightforward rather than very complicated. Facebook and Google, one thing you need to know is that they are thinning the herd, as we call it, which means that they are eliminating advertisers as we speak. Most businesses by now will have experienced rising advertising costs. And that's because they do not add value to the target audience. And Facebook and Google do not like that. They want you to add value to the target audience. And having an X factor in your campaign is the best way to do it. And if you do that, if you dig deep enough to find your X factor, you find that you not only survive the change, you thrive in the new era when Google and Facebook are changing their algorithm. So it's very important to find the X factor. I hope you like this video. Do like, comment, and share if you find it useful, and press the bell notification button so that when new videos are released, you will be notified. I'll catch you soon.